Hello and welcome back to Atom RPG Trudograd. So, we have been exploring the outside of this place for a while, and there's still a little bit more to explore. I was wondering whether we wanted to enter the city. I'm just seeing if there's anywhere else we haven't really been. We could go and explore some of these random places. I think I want to go in the city now. Wait, where are we? We're here. Yeah. Have we got any quests that still need us to be here? So you got the Dog Whisperer, which we can't do. We can't find the book because we're not good enough at lock picking, as far as I'm aware. This one, we need to head to Kolotushkin Street. We could do that. Missing Professor is our main quest there. Let's head to Kolotushkin Street if we can. Yeah, that's fine. Happy to just walk in. I assume we're allowed in. I haven't sold our stuff, but, you know, whatever. I'm just going to walk in like I belong here. Well, let's speak to this guy. Go on, don't just stand there. Oh, okay. What's this say? Oh, welcome to Trudograd. Okay. Well, this takes us to the scrap quarter. Is this our only route out? Oh, I haven't looked at the map before. Oh, you can move on the map as well. That's cool. It wasn't what I intended to do. I just wanted to see if there was another route out. I don't think there is. I think you can only head through. Which makes sense globally. We have to head through there to get to Kolotushkin Street. So I guess we're going to the scrap quarter first, which is where... Oh, well, probably shouldn't be looking at that while we're also moving through a loading screen. Welcome to the map of Trudograd. Press on the available location to go there. Please note you cannot travel between locations unless you have travelled to the exit zone of the current location. To move to another location, highlight the location and click on it with the left mouse button. Locations visited thus far on the world map will be shown, as well as locations that you know about via quest, for example, but not yet visited. Note that before you can fast travel between locations, you need to visit them. Enter the unvisited locations through the neighbouring location's exit zone. You can press the camping button to cook something on the barrel pit day and night, or buy a Baelish pie only day. But be careful, the main streets of Trudograd are not the place to hang around for long. Okay, well I really didn't need to have that open. So we're here, so I assume, yeah, we can only head to the scrap quarter. Okay, cool. What is that? That's neat. I think it's just a bridge, but you know, it's neat. Let's open up our journal. So what are we doing in the scrap quarter? We have to do child support, so we need to find... Oh, it's not opened up child support. I was reading that and thinking that's not right. We need to find Vasilkov. Okay, and then we also need to go to the inverter factory. Okay. We need to visit the site and determine whether there's a legendary railgun there. Okay, I would like to go here. You see a lost wallet lying on the gritty snow. Odd that no one's picked it up yet, since it's right there in plain sight. You open it to find 50 rubles and a pre-war condom inside. Should you keep the contents of the wallet? I'm going to look for the owner. You look around until a gaunt, scruffy-looking man catches your gaze. He sees the wallet in your hand and smiles with relief. Oh, thank you so much for finding it, he shouts, grabbing the wallet from your hands, walks away. You have no idea whether he's the wallet's real owner or just a quick-thinking opportunist. Oh well. Fine. Scrap quarter. And we're here. In theory. When it loads. And, ooh, what's this? Cutscene? That'll be the... Oh, or is it just showing us the scrap quarter? I think it's just showing us the scrap quarter. Although if I had to guess what the inverter factory was in this small area, I'd go for that large building. Naturally, only one factory building still stands. I need to interview the locals. This person's telling me about turnips being a delicious treat. You see a short, stocky woman with signs of mutation and fetal alcohol syndrome on her cheery face. She's marching up and down the snowy street, screaming out colourful slogans. When you come closer, she stops and smiles with unadulterated joy. Mistress, would you deign to answer a question from this loathsome, crippled wench? Would you say that a lowly peasant stands before you, a perverted she-beast, an alcoholic whore and thieving bitch, a fucking degenerate hobo? Would you say that I look like someone who agreed to fuck a mutated ant for a glass of murky hooch? Would you? Oh my, yeah, I would never say those such things. Pleasantly surprised, she blushes like a schoolgirl, After getting her bearing, she loudly clears her throat and continues. What a pleasant, well-mannered young person you are. Thank you very much from the depths of my black, violated, alcoholic soul. Yes, you heard that right, alcoholic. For even though you see me as a beautiful, innocent youth, I used to be all those things I said. But do you know why I'm no longer a degenerate? Do you know what my secret is? Well, she was chanting about turnips, so I'm going to say that it's turnips. Correctamundo. Turnips like these beauties right here. The woman whips her hand out of her pocket and you instinctively jump back. Both her hands have been amputated, or rather chopped off, and replaced with rusty iron hooks. A dirty, rotten turnip is impaled on each hook. Each of these root vegetables starts its journey deep underground in mud, muck, and God forbid manure. However, always comes a day when a caring farmer digs his turnips out and shows them to the morning sun. Reminds us of humans, doesn't it? No matter how low we sink, there is always a way out, right? But some people start well off and fall from grace later in lives. How do your turnip fables explain that? Pike off? You think you're so smart, eh? Listen to this white-hot analogy. Sometimes turnips, after being gathered in the field and washed, fall from the truck into dirty ditches on the way to the market. Truly thus are the people who fall from grace after years of glory. Verily, they should follow the turnip to escape their fate. What there? Why the odd silence? Beat got your tongue? Okay, maybe. So what do you want me to do about it? How should I know? I'm not your piking mother, am I? My role is to share the wisdom of Turna, the turnip goddess. That's it. We can talk some more, or you can leave. You're the one who must decide. Just don't eat beets, for it's a grave sin. Okay. So, how did you lose your hands? I lost my left paw in Boris-o-Bad, the walking city. I lost my right one because of love. What's the story about love you mentioned? For a few years, I travelled with another mutie named Grignor Gorbulag. His mutation was an enlarged cranium, and he thought himself very smart. One of the theories his huge head came up with was that soon people would start using old-timey subway tokens as cash. Ridiculous, right? But I was young and naive and knee-deep in love gunk, so I decided to give him a little present. Found an old subway station and stuck my hand into a rusty token dispenser to grab a handful or two from my mate. Well, little did I know that these things were built like a fucking truck and full of moving parts. My hand got jammed inside, but good. When my skin began to turn blue, Grignor decided to chop it off with an axe, and, well, he did. Okay, sure. What's Boris-o-Bad? That's the UK. Far away from here, in a radioactive desert, a city juts up from the land like a rotten tooth. The Dead City, they call it. After it was nuked during the war, people abandoned the place in two waves. First the good, turnip-fearing people left. Women, children, old folks, hard-working men, government officials. Then another wave of people left the city. These were criminals, marauders, fanatics. They banded together in a huge migrating horde and called themselves Boris-o-Bad, the Walking City, after their leader, Boris Hajar. I joined them for a few months, but when they caught me stealing sunflower seeds, they lopped my arm off without any kind of due process and exiled me. Well, I mean, it does sound like you were stealing. I mean, it's a little harsh, but it sounds like there was some process. Anyway, so that's how it went down. Let's change the subject. We can talk about whatever you like, O disciple of mine. How did you come to worship the humble turnip? Well, it's a normal religion, no worse than any other. One time I was lying in a ditch after a drunken brawl when Turna, the turnip goddess's missionaries, descended upon me like angels. They got me on my feet, cleaned me up, told me the fable that I shared with you, gave me a nice booklet, and left. Unfortunately, I vomited some half-digested beets straight into Father Turnipus's face. I was so ashamed of myself. Even when his ugly mug was dripping with beet-flavoured vomit, he still smiled. He looked upon me with pity and nothing more. He whispered, "It is time for you to see the sun, Gurgula, my little turnip." Oh shit, Now I've revealed my true name to a normie. Don't tell anyone, okay? I did notice the name appeared, and I was waiting for that, but that's cool. Also, we're a normie. Anywho, maybe they have temples and sacrificial altars hidden away somewhere. I don't know. And I don't want to know. I just want to share their wisdom with others and keep them clean of sin. Turnip, Turnip, all hail the mighty Turnip. Death to beat. The beat is a sin. Destroy it wherever it takes root. I see. Do you happen to know where the inverter factory went? The factory from before the war? Turna knows, but not her humble servant. I was blackout drunk the year that place disappeared. I was so fucked up. I wouldn't have noticed if Trudograd herself had vanished. Alright, I want to ask you some questions. Okay, I'm in. Maybe talking will warm me up. What's your name? We already know this, but we'll see. I already told you, my name is Gurgula. 'Tis my awakened mutant kin name. Okay, what do you do for a living? I beg for change and espouse the way of the turnip to the locals. Maybe one day, if I convert enough people, the missionaries will return for me. We can discuss that on another occasion. I just realised, I wonder if she's related to the person who has a turnip baby outside the front gate. There might just be a lot of turnips in this game. That's the other option. What can you tell me about this fine city? It's not that bad. Do you want to hear my motto? Life in Trudograd turned me into an alcoholic hobo prostitute, but my hands I lost elsewhere. What I mean by that is there are worse places in the world. Okay, what do you do for a living? I beg for change and espouse the way of the turnip to local. Oh, we already did that one. Do you have any rumours to share? People say that up north, winter has become so harsh, there is snow on the ground right through summer. You can feel the colder temperatures even as far south as Trudograd. Alright, I should probably go. Bye. Hello. Before you is a stocky, well-built man in a nice jacket. He's warming his hands over a flaming barrel. The man glances around and mutters, "Goddamn idiot of a woman." Who is this idiot you speak of, comrade? The man looks up, startled. That mutant lass over yonder. The one with the hooks for hands. He gestures at a woman marching along the street, streaming strange slogans about turnips, beets, and other equally insane things. Oh, come on, I can't be the only one who's noticed. There are so many weirdos around these days. They make up religions or pretend to be birds or whatever. It's nuts. They're turning the world into a fucking giant freak show. Who cares what they turned into? Who cares what they turned into what? Not me. So you don't care, eh? I know a guy just like that. Alexei Don't Care Off was his name. Now, since he don't care about anything, including the faint glow of his last ever glass of vodka, people remember him as Alexei the Bloated Corpse. Oh, who cares? So what if it's radioactive? Vodka cures radiation poisoning anyway. Bottoms up. Aye. Sakharov spit upon the recent slide in moral standards. In fact, I'm utterly disgusted. You wouldn't think of it as a humble apple salesman, but I weep for a long-lost virtuous past at least 3 times a week. And speaking of weeping, whip out your wallet, cause these juicy vitamin babies won't buy themselves. This is a weird time and place to sell apples. Jasek. Your conversation partner looks away as if he had something to hide. Oh, there's nothing weird about it. Why are people always so suspicious of me? First they spread rumours about me being a violent assassin, then they say I'm an illegal firearms dealer, paying the local cops to ignore his deadly trade. But the real reason for my commercial success is easy as turnip pie. My apples are tasty and clean. The local hobos like them and they can afford them. Treat yourself to one of my apples and you'll see I'm telling the truth. Too bad. Me and my gang of trigger-happy criminals were looking for a place to buy huge quantities of ammo and firearms. You don't look like the type who hangs out with criminals, and I'm really glad you don't. What you look like is a girl who would enjoy a nice shiny apple, or leave without further discussion. No smoke without fire, no money for you unless you show me the good stuff. I have nothing to hide, sis. Why would I? Apples are a great commodity. They're always in demand, and I always have the most delicious apples in the city. You'd eat the branch they grew on if I sold it to you. Alright, show me your stock. He really does just sell apples, huh? Or at least right now. Well, you know what we could do? We could sell him something. What do we not need anymore? We don't need this gun. I'd like to even out that trade. Cool. Yep, not an arms dealer, but quite happy to buy my gun. See ya. Oh, that's a way out. But I don't know about there yet. Hello, you have a gun. Who are you? A policeman is frowning at the passers-by on Trudograd's snowy streets. He's standing alone, bracing himself against the constant gusts of frigid wind. Comrade policeman, what can you tell me about Trudograd? Okay, I'll tell you what I tell every migrant. Here in Trudograd, we hate adventurers and thrill-seekers, and we're suspicious of mercenaries. What we like is law, peace, and order. Remember this, and your stay will be pleasant and fruitful. So how's the service? Difficult and dangerous? That's confidential information. My presence reassures the locals that someone is always on watch. If things get rough, I can radio for backup. Okay, I thought there was a factory called Inverter around here somewhere. Yep, there was such a factory back when, not much left of it now, and that bit's been taken over by squatters. You know what happened to the rest of it? And say, ask the locals, they might be of help. Alright, see ya. Alright, so we know that there was a factory. Which, you know, to be fair, isn't the most interesting information we could get. Right. How do you explain your constant dream visits then? Epiphanies? Oh, it's gone. That's all that's left of the inverter factory. I'd like to enter. There we go. Do you understand that you're sick? Bat him off. It's like my poor mother told me. Don't do unto others what you don't want done unto yourself. Now look at yourself. Epiphians. Unfucking believable. Since you can't win in court, you're coming around accusing me of other bullshit. This is going too quickly. Okay, I'm just going to speak to them. He's too busy with his argument. You're pissing me off. One of these days, I'll swear one more ounce of your bullshit and I'll put your lights out for you. I don't know that after all the shit you tried to pull inside my nightmares, you monster. Inside his nightmares? Hey everybody, everyone, listen to this idiot. Not to worry, our village is finally has an idiot, and this is him. The people are on my side. Okay, besides, as a malicious spellcasting dark, oh my fucking god. Okay, I need to interrupt here. You're going too quickly. A muscular, dark-haired man with wide shoulders is arguing aggressively with a balding man of similar physique. You can't immediately figure out what the quarrel is about. Well, I think it's about this guy we're speaking to going into the other guy's dreams and causing him to have nightmares. But anyway. But it must be very important to them. They're so involved, they don't even notice your approach. A minute passes like this before the bearded, tough guy throws out a quick glance your way and stops his opponent in his tracks. Shut your pie hole for a second. Can't you see this girl is trying to talk to me? What's up? If it's about a room, tough luck. I don't have any vacancies. What are you arguing about? Can I help? No, this is none of your business. Move along. I have a certain reputation when it comes to settling disputes. You gotta be kidding me. Scram, will ya? If that guy is inconveniencing you, I can send him on his way for a few hundred rubles, that is. Ah ha ha ha, look at her. The big man faces his opponent in boisterous argument. You know what she just offered me? I bet you two would be fast friends. She's as crazy as you are. Come on, tell me what's going on. Why would I tell you anything? Scram, kid. God damn it, if you don't want to talk, don't. Oh, so just like that you're not interested? Just because you barged into our conversation out of nowhere, I will tell you everything about our disagreement. Okay. Take this slack-jawed asshole for starters. That, my good woman, is Comrade Bakhtimirov. First, he got himself stuck balls deep in the scrap business, my business, where I didn't have a single real competitor before. Then he uncovered some funky archival documents stating that half the places I'm digging up are actually the property of his ancient ancestors and therefore belong to him. As if that wasn't enough, now he's coming around every day and declaring that okay, brace yourself for this bit, that I'm haunting his sleep and trying to murder him in his nightmares. Fucking A, how can you even say such ridiculous things with a straight face? How could any animate, shoelace tie-in, groin and armpit washing human believe in such hogwash? No hogwash here, only wicked sleep magic. You want to destroy your competition, don't you? I stopped you from growing fatter and richer exploiting my ancestral land, so you decided to send terrible visions my way. Don't talk to that modern-day Svengali stranger. Leave him to fester in his own dark mind, or he might make an appearance in your dreams, too. Straight from the horse's mouth, can you believe this insane drivel? You could try and debate him if you like. I'm willing to pay a handsome sum if you get him to see that he's spouting shit. I'm half convinced an early grave is the only fix for that superstitious idiot. Gotcha. Could you tell me about what happened to the factory that used to be here, though? When I bought this parcel from the city, it looked exactly like it does now. Piles of rubble, broken bricks, and a few more or less intact structures. If the ground hadn't been full of viable metal wiring, this would have been one hell of a bad business decision. Guess nobody bothered to scavenge the place after the demolition. Still no leads. Okay, can you answer some other questions? Are you kidding? What questions? Got business if you have any, and then run along. Right, see you later. Hello. This heavy-set, bald man of around 40 is giving you a careful once-over. When he begins to speak, his surprisingly gentle voice doesn't at all match his somewhat menacing appearance. I heard that Epiphans asked you to talk to me about my beliefs. Okay, let's talk. I'll quickly debunk all of your arguments and continue to blame that scoundrel for psychic violence and witchcraft. I will do so until his will breaks and he admits his crimes. Okay, what's with this arguing? There is no arguing, at least not on my side. Some time ago, my little scrap company began to step on the toes of Epiphan's Scrap Metal Cooperative. There wasn't any ill intent on my part. My business naturally grew and expanded to new scavenging sites, while Epiphan's crew shrank, no doubt due to their alcohol problem. I also have a legal case against Epiphans for gathering scrap on the lands of my great ancestor, Count Artemon Baktimiroth. A legal case? The rights of the aristocracy were dissolved a century ago. In the first few years after the war, Trudograd's government changed almost weekly due to a constant series of coups. Leadership changed hands between communists, fascists, monarchists, democrats, anarchists, dadaists, beat worshippers, turnip cultists, and the unholy servants of the Black Goat, and so on and so forth. Sometime during this political unrest, someone snuck a little statute into the city's constitution which proclaimed that successors of old noble families had the right to retake their ancestral lands provided they could prove their lineage. When the current authorities finally disposed of their competition for good, they proclaimed that the constitution to be inviolable and impervious to criticism. Little did they know that the statute about the nobility remained intact. Okay, point taken, go on. At first, everything went smoothly. My company was reaping huge profits and the judge promised the land dispute would be solved in my favour. But then, my sleep began to be plagued with terrible dreams every night. Indescribable nightmares, all different. The one thing my night terrors all had in common with was Epithans. He appeared in every single one. Every night, his goal was to brutally murder me. Imagine this for a second. Ducky, you close your eyes after a hard day's work, but instead of oblivion, you find yourself staring into the bloodshot peepers of that buff bastard. Before you can tell whether it's real or the beginning of a nightmare, he's lunging at you with a knife. You run as the hallucination swirls and churns unendingly, tortuously. You squeeze through its viscous, slow-moving fabric, and, if he catches you and kills you here, you'll die in the real world too. It was thanks to this never-ending torment that I slept through my court hearing. I'm still working to resolve the situation with the judge. My work is withered as well because of my constant sleeplessness and distraction. That's why I'm here, trying to convince this asshole to lift the curse. Creeperific! Is that the entire story? Yeah, isn't that enough? I just asked him to stop his wicked ways and settle things like a real man through the court system, but the scoundrel is acting all squirrely, denying everything. Since even a simple passerby like yourself seems to doubt that he's a real warlock, I'll prove it somehow. Don't you suppose believing in magic in our day and age is kinda dumb, partner? No, Ducky, I do not. What's really dumb is thinking modern science has answered all the questions posed by our endless, ever-expanding universe in just a few centuries. There are more things in heaven and earth, etc. Terrible, sleep-ruining, black magic is one example that comes to mind. Alright, you're too damn stubborn. I'll return with new arguments soon. Okay. So I have noticed one thing about this game, is that a lot of the progression appears to be like, do you have X stat? and if you don't have X stat, you can't progress. Which is fine. The only worry I have is that if you build your character in a certain way, you're probably going to be able to soft lock yourself. I could be wrong. I mean, I suppose we always have this answer, right? I just reloaded. Wasn't what I was... We'd always do that, right? And that basically lets you progress no matter the situation. I don't want to shoot anymore. But yeah, it's odd. Anyway. Hello. A youthful fellow stands motionless before you. He looks curiously at you and forces a fake-looking smile. Yes, what is it? I wanted to ask about the fate of the inverter factory. I don't really know anything about it. All that's left is this building. I'm sure someone around here must know more. So how much for a bed in this flop house? All the beds are either taken or paid for in advance. It's like this everywhere. Finding decent accommodations in Trudograd is hella hard. Nobody can afford an apartment, and renting a room is only slightly easier. You could build a mud hut outside the walls, but then the police will never give you any peace, and someone will eventually burn it down out of spite. Maybe with you inside. Alright, you answer any other questions? I'm kinda busy right now. Can you talk to one of my roommates instead? Alright, see ya. Hello there. This dark-haired, dark-eyed man sighs sorrowfully and turns to the jolly woman who keeps him company in his makeshift dwelling. I assume there's a woman here that we can't see. See, just like I told you, first that uneducated savage moves in next door, now strangers are roaming around, oh there she is, in our living space. What's going to happen tomorrow? If we live to see tomorrow, that is. The woman rolls her eyes and the man sighs again before turning back to you. My wife doesn't seem to think you're a threat. Well, out with it. I want her to hear it for herself. What did our terrible neighbor ask you to do to us? I don't know anything about any neighbors. What are you talking about? You really don't know the guy. He calls himself Rustlin. Don't know if that's his real name. Listen, maybe you can help us, and not just me and my wife. By us, I mean every honest, humble soul in this mighty city. Sounds important. I'm listening. You see, Rustlin, our new neighbor, moved into the other apartment in this building recently. He's a foreigner. A northern foreigner, to be precise. Already sounds suspicious, am I right? We'll shrug and say nothing. Being a northerner is not his only sin. Every night, this golden-maned, foul-mouthed hooligan sneaks out into the streets. And, as my recent investigation has shown, he heads over to a stack of old cable reels and hides something there. Most probably notes. What notes, you may ask? Well, the only sensible answer is that there are secret instructions on how best to conquer the scrap quarter. Full-on northern invasion. What else could they be? These reports are then delivered to their tribal spy master, who's busily plotting the terrible tortures they'll apply to us, honest locals, when their accursed legions conquer Trudograd. But without proof, our local policeman will not lift a finger. I'm too scared to search out the truth of my own, especially at night. I tried looking during the day, but his secret cache had already been retrieved by his handler, which must happen around daybreak. Please, young lady, for my sake, and for the sake of this great city, investigate this matter fully. In return, I will gift you with a bounty of expired medications, which I cannot use myself because of the likely health risks. Deal? What? What a horrible reward, but you know what, I'll do it. I understand you're a busy person, but please make haste, the enemy never sleeps. There used to be a huge factory somewhere near your house. Do you know what happened to it? I don't know anything about that. Me and Natala, we used to live at the other end of the city in a real apartment. Not even a rumor of what happened to this factory ever reached us there. In the first years after the war, even larger factories would disappear overnight. Once they realized there was no more central government to keep them in line, everything of value was sold, repurposed, or scrapped by the authorities. Only the oldest of the old-timers would remember the fate of this place. Want to talk about something else? Questions? Sorry, but in the scrap quarter, discussing even the most abstract things has a tendency to backfire on you, especially if it's with someone you barely know. Alright, I'll take my leave then. Hey, what's up? A hazel-eyed woman speaks warmly to you. Are you looking for someone, or maybe you wanted to pay a visit to our neighbor? I think you've got the wrong door. Why do you suppose I'm looking for your neighbor? He always has some people visiting him, friends and family, I guess. Sometimes he meets with them outside, sometimes in his room. It's completely normal behaviour for a young person, but my husband thinks the poor boy is a northern spy who plans to murder us all. How silly. Talk with Aquil if you wish to hear more about his conspiracy theories. Do you know anything about the factory that once stood here? The only thing I can tell you is what you already know. The factory is gone. It probably came down during the turmoil of the early 90s. Whether it was blown up or transported elsewhere, I do not know. My Aquil and I lived on the other side of town back then, and we were pretty busy, as you can imagine. Unlike most other Soviet cities, no nuclear warheads landed in Trudograd during the war, but that did not save us from a chaotic escalation of violence in the streets, with former party leaders, the military, and other factions fighting to determine who would rule the post-apocalyptic world. We common folk had our own fight as well, the fight for survival, and we weren't all that interested in news about some factory. Okay. Once again, nothing is clear. Possibly it's even less clear than before. Could you answer a few more questions? Certainly, I'm always glad to have a chat. How should I address you? My name is Natalia. I use my husband's name, Pugacheva. What do you do here? I know how to sew, mend clothes for my neighbours, and even sometimes make something new. I don't get much work that way, but every little bit helps. My only worry is that with old age, I won't be able to hold a needle anymore. Me and my husband were too worried about the future to have any kids, so there was no one to provide for us. What can you tell me about Trudograd? It's my hometown, although it doesn't feel very homely at times. Fate has been cruel to my husband and me. He's a musician and I'm a teacher, but in this new world the only lessons needed are in survival, and music has been replaced by the roar of terrible mutants and the rattle of gunfire. The lives we should have lived died in the war. Any gossip you want to share? Not everyone in Trudograd is happy with the authorities. I hear that some citizens have formed an underground revolutionary group that plots to overthrow the government. I just hope these ideas don't spill out into bloodshed on the streets. Alright, see ya. Okay, and with that, I am going to end the episode there. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.